Mike Draco, first across the line again. Good to see you here, man. Scott Stefano, hey now. That's it. We're up. We're live. We're getting ready to go. Coast to Coast, going to be a fantastic show tonight. Hey, I'm Chris with Cycle Source Magazine. I'm your engineer on this ride for the next 60 to 90 minutes of fantastic 2-0 entertainment featuring Chris Simmons and Michael Lichter taking you on adventure coast to coast. Jersey in the house. Yeah, more like continent to continent. That's right. Milwaukee, Wisconsin in with us, Jimmy Bradley. Walter Bednarski, New Jersey. Pasco, Washington, Steve Henderson. Today's Tuesday. I know. We blew Sunday. Damn cable company. But hey, this is going to be a killer way to make up that show. Just 3.5 minutes out and we're going live with Coast to Coast. Stick around. While you're waiting, we remind you to please hit the like and share button. Help us get the information about these shows out everywhere. And big thanks to our friends over at Chopper Town for doing that very thing. Stick around 3.5 minutes. We're going live with another episode of Coast to Coast. Scott, oh my God, I can't believe. Did I forget that it's 420? Super Cycle going to Oli. You know that's the reason why we call Cycle Source what we did. That was my favorite magazine when I was a kid, man. A truly fantastic, dirty old biker magazine. I miss it. Here in the States. What a great way to celebrate that by hanging out with Chris and Michael going coast to coast on another killer show. Every day is like 420. That's right. It depends on which coast you're on. Leanne Sims in the house, Arizona, representing. Right on, man. It's going to be a fantastic show. If you like what we're doing here, man, don't just sit back and be an observer. Get involved. You can throw your comments up wherever you're watching this from, and they'll come through, and the host will have an opportunity to interact with you and get your questions, comments, and concerns live on the air for Coast to Coast. We're just a minute and a half out. Walter Coro, how's the FXR? We're down to a transmission and a front end on that thing, Walt, and it's coming off the bench and getting ready to get cleaned up and sandblasted, and we're going to make a hell of a machine out of that. Hey, look, the parking lot is getting full outside of the Source Media Global Headquarters. 26 seconds, that means it's time to get this one out of the barn and up on the track. We're going to go live with this week's Coast to Coast. Here we go.
Hey, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Coast. We are live How's everybody? Yeah, there you go. I'm live from Maui, Hawaii. Having a great time here. I'm so excited about this show. I really, every week it seems to be, we get these more interesting people. Not that last week wasn't, but it's just so amazing that we finally got Shilpa on. We've been talking to her for a few weeks. But let me bring on my co-host, Mr. Michael Lichter. Come on down. There you are. Hey, did you unmute your mic?
We were just now I did. We're just chatting on the phone, so there you go. Now it's unmuted.
Thanks. We talk on the phone. We chat. We're always like communicating about something. It seems.
There you go.
Great to see you.
Can't believe it. We had a foot of snow last night. Is that crazy?
Oh my God.
April 20th. My goodness, to wake up and it was gorgeous out, and a lot of it's melting. It was beautiful out today, and we'll see what happens. But anyway, it's really pretty.
It is 420.
There you go. It's boy, I'll tell you, Boulder used to have a cloud of smoke on it on 420. Boulder was lit up.
Really? Well, I live in Maui.
At the university, I think the cloud just came up from the university. You just saw it like that. It's wild.
Right. Yeah. Well, now you guys can smoke that stuff legally there.
That's right? It. So it's kind of put a kibosh on that. How was your week?
Interesting. I got my dog fixed. Not that exciting, but I had one of those donut things on her, she doesn't lick herself. And she ate the donut.
She thought it had sugar in it or something.
I called it the dog ate the donut. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. But anyway.
It's those labs, anything for food, right?
Everything's in the mouth. Usually it's my hand, I got like some marks on me still. I'm like, wait, you're 7 months old, you're still biting your mom? Stop it. Anyway, it was a fun week, playing with the kids and stuff and hanging out with I actually saw some friends, which was pretty cool. Wow. Hanging out with people outside, but it was fun. So anyway, we have some cool events coming up. I was just talking to you about them before the show here. And
let's hear about it.
There's so much going on. It's like, phew, I gotta get off this rock. I know that April 30th, there's a women's event coming up. My friend Ellie Rains from Midwest Women's Riders puts on Get Your Groove On. It's in Woodstock, Illinois. One of the largest.
I know these are women's kind of oriented events, but you got to say, are men allowed? So you got to kind of qualify each event that way.
I'm not sure about this one. I don't know. Why? You want to take your chance? I think Gloria Struck might be going out for this one to see Ellie. So yeah.
Well, for next week, we're going to double check all that, right?
Yeah, International Female Ride Day is coming up, which is May 1st.
I'm guessing that's for women?
Yes. Well, International Female Ride Day is Women's Day. Not that every day shouldn't be Women's Motorcycle Riding Day.
Well, it says your hometown. So what if you want to bring your partner with you?
You could probably ride around with your partner.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a pretty cool thing. That's all over the world?
That's globally, yes. It's kind of a cool. Women have been really getting their stuff to go. Oh, there we go. Wow. International Female Ride Day. All kinds of stuff going on in different areas where you are. And I know that just Google it like this and you can find what's going on in your area, or just go out and ride your bike. I hope I could just start my bike. We'll see how that goes. I don't know if I can get it out of the garage, but
cool. Well, that sounds like good. I'll bet they have some good social media going on that from around the world.
Oh yeah, there's going to be so many videos and things up. It's fun to see. So what do you got going on?
Well, I think I'm going to come out of hibernation. Yep, that's my plan. Tennessee Motorcycle Revival. I'm saying it publicly for the first time, but I do believe I'm going to go to Tennessee Motorcycle Revival. And Bill Dodge has his BC Moto Invitational there. And I believe Cycle Source is probably going to be there. Do I hear? Is that correct? Really? Chris Callan? No word from Chris. So maybe not. Maybe yes, maybe not. But that's at Loretta Lynn's Ranch in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. So I am going to actually head over there May 20th to 23rd. And I've heard wonderful things about this event. It's a camping event. A lot of my friends have been going for the last couple of years. I haven't made it yet. So it's on my calendar.
I was going to ask you if you've been there. And I was invited a few years ago, but something I don't know what was going on. Something with a band or somebody's going somewhere, but it has grown tremendously and everybody's talking about it. And I must say Fandango is on my list everybody's still talking about it.
You missed it. You missed the Fandango.
I missed it. I'm going next year.
That was 2 weeks ago.
I know. I couldn't go, but I'm going next year because it looked like so much fun. And I've seen everybody's videos and pictures. And so
Actually, I just saw on their social media today, they said Michael Lichter is coming next year. So,
Well, you better be there now. So
so
Cyclosaurus Magazine just chimed in. No Cyclosaurus at the Tennessee thing. They're going to be at Donnie Smith's show.
gotcha. Okay. So then
Yeah.
you got something after that, don't you? This Yeehaw looks pretty good. What's that all about?
I don't know. It's the leaders, so it's got to be fun, right?
It's got to
The
be
Leaders are
good.
gonna camp out in Splendora, Texas, May 21st and 23rd.
And
So
then
that's
the week
fun.
after that, we got Red River Run. I've done that. I did that back in 1985. I will say the first time I went, it snowed on me. But
Where's
in,
that at?
in Red River, New Mexico. It's a cool kind of coming out party for the year. And they take over this little town, mountain town in New Mexico. It's really pretty. And the riding is gorgeous. Kind of do this triangle ride to Santa Fe or to Taos. And it's kind of the enchanted land. It's really beautiful down there. So that's a cool one. What do you got after that?
Well, I was just looking back at the Leaders thing. It's hosting its first ever annual camp out. So that's cool. It's the first time they've done the camp out there. And then there's there's a Shimoto's Curves and Corners Ladies Track Weekend.
When's that?
That is May 8th and 9th. So there's so much. It's like every weekend you go to something.
Oh, yeah.
So it's amazing.
There's a lot of stuff. You know, I'm going to jump way ahead all the way to the motorcycle chase because that's another one I'm doing.
Yes.
I'm not sure what I'm doing in between those two, but on July 3rd to the 10th, the motorcycle chase is going to start out of Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and it's going to end there. Unlike any other event they've done, it's going to start and end in the same place. So that's on my list to do, and that's a fun event with, and it's one where you got to carry all your own stuff. It's not as formal, not as
no, I know
doesn't cost as much, of course, as what you're familiar with the motorcycle Cannonball, because you don't have a crew. You got to do it on your own. And of course, you did that as a rider, and I've done it as a photographer. That is a fun event.
We did the first one. That was in 2019, and that was all the way from Sault Ste. Marie to Key West. And boy, I had a big bread thing in the back. I was delivering bread on the way. I had a bread basket in the back of my bike.
So do you have any other ladies runs you want to tell us about?
There's so many coming up. It's like Sport Bike Track Girls Days and May 29th in Alabama. There's just so many, and we'll talk about more next week for sure.
I'm going to mention one more because it ties a bunch of things together, and that's Sturgis, and that's August 6th, August 6th to 15 this year. And it's first official day is a Friday. It didn't used to be Sunday. So now it's Friday to the following Sunday. And then I am having my event, of course, my exhibition, which would be more metal. It's the second half of last year's exhibit, which will be all new bikes from the most known and really legendary bike builders. And this year, as I do every 5 years, I'm going to show all my work. So I'm going to take all the walls for my own exhibition of my photography, and we'll have about 30 builders inside, and really the best and the ones that have been around long. So the minimum is you have to have been building bikes, been in the business for 20 years and built 20 or more bikes. So that's kind of the premise of the show.
Wow.
And then, but I mentioned this only that there's other things, because there's two women's things. Of course, we got the Wild Gypsy Tour going on.
We got the Gypsy Tour, the 7th through the 11th at the Buffalo Chip. And that's a great event. That's Kelly Asdy's group, and they have so much fun. And I caught a little bit of them last time I was there, not this year, but the year before. And a great group of girls. They have so much fun. And it leads right into the 13th annual Biker Bells, which is, I believe, August 10th, which I helped start and was at the beginning of it. And it's so cool to see it grow as it's done.
So it's all good stuff. And anything else going on this week before we move on?
I think I'm just so excited to talk about Shilpa and
let's do it.
Her photo. So let's bring in Shilpa all the way from India. And
this is live from India. So this is so cool because it is actually Wednesday morning there. So let's bring her on.
Yes. She's awake. Good morning.
Good morning. There. What time do you have there, Shilpa?
It's 6:35, 6:40 over here.
Oh my God, I'm lucky I didn't have to be on at that time, because usually I'm just going to sleep then.
Yeah, right. I get these emails from Michael in the middle of the night.
Chris gets emails from me at 4 in the morning. She goes, "What the hell are you doing?" Anyway, so
time-
it's so good to see you bright and early over there. And of course, it's Tuesday evening here in the USA.
Yep.
Yeah,
So-
I used to work in the night shift, so I kind of got used to the US shifts. I mean, US timings.
There you go. Well, that was back in your sit behind a desk days, which are long gone, right?
Yeah.
Yes, long gone.
So tell us about it. Why?
Yep.
How did you leave a 25-year position at a desk job to devote yourself to motorcycles?
Well, corporate life, I think most of us don't enjoy corporate life. If we had a chance to do something better and live what we live the way we want, happily, we would not get into it. So the same was with me, and I didn't like corporate jobs. I didn't like to sit behind the desk all the time. So finally, I made myself get out of it, got onto a motorcycle, and started traveling. I love to travel, so and motorcycle is the means that I got.
And how did you get the idea to start riding? Was it your idea? You had some friends who rode. How did it come about?
Well, my dad used to ride a scooter, you know, the old ones which had the gears in the hand, those ones. And then my sister started riding, but I wasn't too inclined to it. But then a friend of mine, he just insisted, why don't you learn the motorcycle rather than just riding pillion with me? You just ride and I will sit pillion with you. So I said, okay, let's try. And that's how I got onto it.
Well, from my recollection, now I am sure things have changed a little bit, and I am going to date myself a little bit here as well. But I haven't been in India in 46 years, and I spent a few months there, and I absolutely loved it. But my recollection, I traveled by train at the time, but my recollection is that there were motorcycles and scooters everywhere. Do you have any kind of an idea what percentage of the population has a license to ride, or maybe rides without a license? How many people in India ride motorcycles or scooters?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I would say close to at least 70% of the people in India ride motorcycles because that's majorly used as their transport from one place to another.
Now, for our viewers, I need to put this in perspective. She's talking about almost 700 million motorcycles there. This is not a small amount. It's crazy. But, you know, my recollection, I don't know what it's like now, is it was real utility. I mean, you saw entire families. You'd see parents with 3 or 4 kids on a motorcycle. You'd see goats and chickens on a motorcycle and delivering everything from yogurt to bread. So, I mean, is it still used as transportation? How much is it really utilitarian versus I mean, it seems like for you, it's pure pleasure, but how many people still use it as a utility vehicle?
The maximum percent, I think, is for utility purposes. Like you said, yeah, they still carry some chicken and goats, and but that's in the village, not in the towns anymore, or not in the cities anymore. But yeah, so like you can see in the picture, you will find a lot of motorcyclists out there.
Ooh. And a lot of women ride there. It's been very acceptable, right? What do you think the ratio is, women to men? Is it the same? Is it less, more?
It's pretty less, I would say, but it's picking up with the women now. The younger generation is picking up and getting into motorcycling because I think they love the freedom on it, or the kind of independence that they feel. But they get into more of touring rather than daily commute or transportation.
Right.
Wow. But now your part is that you seem to love motorcycles and travel. And so that brings us to some amazing accomplishments. I mean, I think, wasn't your first really big run when you put, how many miles was it in 2015, was it? Your first big run around India?
2016.
2016. Can you tell us about that? And actually, maybe we could bring up some images because especially I'd like to bring up a map so that
well, yeah, she did the Iron Butt in 2015. Maybe that's what you're thinking about. She did a solo ride, 27,000 kilometers, but just,
that's right. So here's India, and what do you have? You have a little over 1 billion people. Is that right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
I
And
think
if you look there on the left, you could see Mumbai, which a lot of Americans formerly knew as Bombay, which is where you are from. But why don't you tell
Yes.
us about this first ride? And we could actually show some pictures going to the next shot of you riding. But why don't you tell us about where you rode, why you rode, and what that trip was all about?
So I have pretty much before I started this big ride in 2016, I did smaller rides in and around India, covering the coast, covering certain states and all that. And then I decided to just see it all in one go. So I just picked up a date at random, but it happened to be September 11th. And yeah, I started it. I was going to be joined by another friend of mine, but he got into a new job, so he couldn't get the leaves. So I ended up doing a solo ride covering 27,000 kilometers across the length and breadth of India. And it started with me going to from Mumbai. I started my ride from Mumbai, went up to Ladakh first.
Wow.
All right, now bring up that map of India again, because Ladakh, you can see, is way near, it's very close to the Chinese border, isn't it?
Yes, it's very close to
Wow.
China.
So
and
if you
Pakistan
look at the
border,
very
side to side.
top of the map there, you can see where Ladakh is. So that's a long, long way from Mumbai. Wow.
Yeah, I was wondering, what people are asking, what is the most popular brand motorcycle that people are riding in India?
It's Bajaj, and then we have the Hero. TVS. Also,
Right, different brands.
We have Honda.
Not too many. Do you have? I guess you have Harleys there. People ask about. You see a lot of Harleys on the road too.
I wouldn't say a lot,
but some, I'm sure. Because Harley had a big thing there for a while. So I don't know.
Harley is there over here as well. We have Harley. We have Indians. We have Triumph.
Okay, now again, let's look at some perspective here, because Hero motorcycles, which I'd say most Americans don't even know of, is a big manufacturer of motorcycles in India. And in 1 year, they produced more than 7.5 million motorcycles, one brand in India.
Yeah.
Now compare that. Harley is 100,000, and they did over 7.5 million.
A lot more people. Yep.
A lot more people. Incredible.
Yeah.
And do they have helmet laws and restrictions and licensing and things like that? Do you have to wear a helmet?
Yes, you have to wear a helmet, although some of them don't prefer wearing it. You do have to have a license and insurance, and you need to have a pollution certificate. So yes, all those stuff has to be there, and if you don't have, it's illegal.
Right. And the average motorcycle, a lot of these are smaller bikes, the CC. So we're not talking everybody's riding a big bike. There's a lot of smaller bikes.
How big is your bike?
Yeah.
How many CCs is your bike that you did your rides on?
The first ride that I did on was a 250cc Honda CBR. The second ride that I did was on a Bajaj Dominar, which is a 400cc. And I have been riding my another bike, which is 150cc, which I typically use for my city rides. That's a CBR 250cc.
Wow.
That's the one I did my all India ride.
So 17 like on the chase. Look how she's packed up there. Looks like my bike on the chase.
So 17,000 kilometers that you did, or more than that, on that first big ride around India. For our American viewers here, that's over 10,000 miles on that bike that many people say, oh, Sportsters are too small for long distance. So look again. This is incredible. It's really awesome. It just says what you could do. That's fabulous. Is that still what the size bike you ride now?
Yes, I still have it with me. It's done about 134,000 kilometers on it.
Wow.
Wow, that's
So,
incredible.
so total, I think you said, I figured out you had ridden over 300,000 miles already, and you've only been riding for what, 16 years, right?
Yes.
A lot of miles you're putting on in your lifetime so far. Wow. We got to get to some of these pictures because they're just so beautiful. I mean, the scenery there, it makes you just want to get on a bike and go.
Really, let's bring some more up.
Well, there's her world record. She's famous. Shilpa, I didn't know how famous you were until I started Googling you.
So, Shilpa, why don't you explain the ride that got you this award here?
This ride was done in 2018. I just picked up. So one of my friend used to tell me, why don't you do a Kashmir to Kanyakumari ride, which many of the people over here do, and also the eastmost to the westmost ride of India. So I just decided that I'm not going to do two separate rides and just do it all in one. And when I looked it up on Google to see if anyone else has done this, I didn't find any other lady who has done it. So I just put it up in the records. I applied for the records and I started doing this. So yes, it was a bit tough to do 15,000 odd kilometers in 29 days. Because I met with all the weather out there. So it was sunny, it was raining heavily, and then it was snowing badly. And then it was a heat of about 50 degrees centigrade. So I rode through all.
And again, on a small bike. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
So the solo ride that you did, the 15,000 kilometers, that's 9,456 miles. Right. And then you did that by yourself, because I know you did the other one. Yeah, right on, girl. The other one you did with 3 other women. You did a ride with 3 other women also, right?
Yes. That was my third big ride, which I did across 5 countries, which was Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia. And
let's bring up the map on this. That's image 26, because that shows the countries and the route while she's talking about it.
Yeah, the route. I mean, just going to those countries.
So
just beautiful.
yeah, so you could say once the map gets up, let's go over maybe we could zoom in on the cities and then you could explain where you went. So
yeah,
this one you didn't start in Mumbai, right?
Yeah. So from Mumbai, I went to Hyderabad. So Mumbai is on the left, although it's not on the map because.
Yeah, the red dot is Hyderabad.
Yeah, he got it.
Yeah.
And
so we started the ride from Hyderabad. We went up to Odisha. From there, we went to Kolkata, and up to Sikkim, Meghalaya. Not to Sikkim, but yeah, through that area. So it was again Bengal, Meghalaya.
Did you go through Nagaland?
Nagaland. Yeah, we went through Nagaland.
I've heard incredible things about that. I mean, were you able to stop and really spend a little bit of time, or you just every day you're getting on the bike and seeing how many miles you can go?
So we did visit the UNESCO sites out wherever we went, but didn't spend too much time within India because we had to cover the rest of the countries and actually go there and visit the sites and take a look around. So we did go around in India as well. So in Nagaland, in Manipur, even in Orissa, Calcutta. So we went to all these places. There are a lot of places to visit. It's like you need at least 4 lifetimes to complete India, and still you wouldn't complete. So too many things out there.
Where's Tashi Lake? What country is Tashi Lake in?
Tashi
Lake is in Myanmar. I mean, it's a border.
Yeah.
From
and Shilpa,
Thailand.
what are the roads like? Are they mostly 2-lane? Or there's some gravel? Or are they all paved?
In the in the other countries, or are you talking about India?
In general, like in India. I mean, I know when you're in the cities, you have more traffic, but when you get away from the cities, what are the roads like in India?
Most of the roads are really good. You get 2 lanes, 4 lanes. You also have expressways over here. There are, yes, roads which are gravel and still under construction because there's a lot of road widening that's going on. So there are about 3 or 4 expressways, and they are so huge that you can land a Boeing out there.
Wow. It's far from my memories, because when I was there,
well, that was 46 years ago.
I mean, you're really talking about, it was like 1 lane for the most part. I'd be in a bus going to some villages, and it was really 1 lane. And if somebody else was coming, somebody had to get off the road. That's what it was. What changes? It's incredible. I would love to come back and visit. But so, one question I have for you with this international tour with the 3 other women is, you were 4 women together. And,
yes.
We hear a lot of reports in India. There's been a lot of problems that have made big news about some rape cases, things like that. Then there's things like in Myanmar, certainly right now, the last few months, I think it would be, over 500 protesters have been killed in Myanmar. So I don't think, would you not be doing that now? And what about at the time that you did do it? Did you ever feel not safe? Were you watching politics along the way? And just being 4 women on the road, how did you feel? Tell us about that, your personal experience.
Personally, I feel every country has its own ups and downs, but we cannot really say just because there are some protests out there or some violence going on, the entire country is bad. I never felt unsafe in any of my rides, whether it was solo or whether it was with my group of women. And it was really fun going around. And I would rather love to visit Myanmar again, because it is so much, there is so much to explore there, and it is quite untouched and beautiful, amazing landscapes and people out there. So it's worth a visit, definitely.
Wow.
We have to look at some of these photos. You're just amazing. What number are you at there? We got to go back a little bit, maybe.
That's the way we were welcomed at.
There you are. Yep.
Most of the places by
coming to
Bajaj.
Cambodia.
Yeah.
Did you ever, out of curiosity, run into any Americans along the road traveling?
Not during my international ride, but yes, I have come across some Americans when I was doing my All India ride in 2016. So there were people cycling up in Ladakh. There were few of them who were also there just to explore different places where generally it's not a tourist place. It's more for experience that they have come there, or they would just like to spend their holidays in just one place rather than going around looking at visiting tourist sites.
We have to show the picture. I think it's one of my favorite pictures of you is number 8. And you're in your motorcycle gear on the Camel. I love it. Where was that taken?
Wow. Where's the throttle on that thing?
Yeah.
So that's a double hump camel, which you find in, there's a place called Hundar, which is spelled as Hunder. That's in Ladakh. So it's a desert. It's a valley, but it's a desert. And there you find these camels. Nowhere else in India will you find a double hump camel.
Well, I'm glad you're wearing your gear.
Safety. That's called camel protective gear.
I was just too lazy to get off my gear, and it was late by the time I reached the place. So they were going to close it down. So I said, I better get a ride before it closes.
Hey, you know what? Let's take a short commercial break, and we'll come back and we'll show some more pictures and tell some more stories. How about that? We'll be right back, everybody. Hang on.
See you on the other side there,
Okay.
Shilpa.
Yep.
Everything we do at the track shapes what we build for the street and the dirt.
You can see how bad these guys want it. A race to the line.
For us, racing is not for the trophies or the glory. We compete because it makes everything we do faster, more durable, and tested to a higher standard. For S&S, racing is the ultimate in proven performance, and we've been proving it since 1958.
We're ready to race. What's your strategy? Go fast.
The Fueling name has been associated with racing and high-performance engines since 1974, when founder Jim Fueling started fueling the flames. From Daytona to Monaco, from the Bonneville Salt Flats to the Indy 500. Fueling is here to compete. Look for the Flying Pig to run up front this year with pilot Ben Bosman. Fueling. No bullshit, just performance.
Wow. Torque performance. How cool is that?
Very cool. So that's another
Yeah.
offering that's coming up. It'll be a print magazine 4 times a year, a weekly
Yep.
show on Thursday nights on
Yep.
on Cycle Source Media, and it sounds like it's addressing something that people are really looking for these days, especially with
Yeah.
all the performance baggers coming now and the racing. Very cool.
There's so much going on. And thank you to S&S and Fueling. Great. Definitely thank you, sponsors at Chopper Town, Cycle Source Media Group. You guys are awesome.
All the
Thank you
people
so
that
much.
carry us, I think there's 20 different outlets now. So that's great. Thanks to all of them. Absolutely. And a little shout out. I'm just going to mention that blog post I mentioned last week about riding in the 70s and Sturgis in the 70s. That went up on Dennis Kirk's blog today. So if you get a
Oh, I gotta read
chance,
that.
please check it out. It's really like a whole magazine article. It's just put up on a blog instead of in print.
And then the
So-
next one is going to be the 80s, right? Sturgis
Then
in the
80s well, actually that's next
Oh.
month. Next one in 2 weeks, I'm going to do it on, look at
Oh.
that. There you go. So called Lichter Notes, I guess. The next one in 2 weeks is going to be on
Oh.
Arlen Ness. I'm going to kind of alternate events with
Oh, cool.
builders and bikes. So every month I'm going to do another decade of Sturgis building up to it.
I was kind of looking forward to the 80s because of the hair and stuff, you know. That's
Oh
kinda
yeah, we love that.
era.
Oh, we love that, right?
Anyway,
Cool.
let's get back to Shilpa. Oh my
Let's
God,
do
these
it.
pictures are just
Oh, you know what?
amazing.
I want
Yes.
to ask the viewers out
Mhm.
there. We're getting lots and lots of comments.
Oh yeah,
And I
questions.
know from some of these names that they are not local. So please, if you're from another country, chime in and
Yeah.
let us know where you're from, because I'm trying to figure out, I'm not getting that many foreign visitors. We've had as many as 7 countries represented. And tonight I'm not seeing very much. So if you are from a foreign country, please let me know where that is.
Somebody's asking her, which one was your worst riding tour? Uh-oh, everybody's got stories like what your worst tour,
Yeah.
maybe
Or
some
maybe it's just a
weather.
part of, maybe it was just a part of a tour or a few days of a tour.
Lalit Parmar.
Did you follow that, Shilpa?
The
Yeah,
worst tour you
I
had.
did.
She's thinking because there's so many. Kidding.
No, I wouldn't say I had a worst riding tour ever, because everything is an experience, and you always learn something when you are not, when you plan something and doesn't work out. That's when you learn, okay, this can also happen, and you have to be prepared for whatever comes in front of you. Yes, the worst part, I would say, in most of my tours is I keep falling down. So when there's a bad
falling
road and
down.
if I have to go over it.
And this lady asked, she's from Lalit Parmar is from India. Is she one of your friends? Maybe she knew that. That's why she asked you the question.
Yeah, it's a he. And he is my, you could say he is my bike coach. So he's the person who taught me to ride my motorcycle.
Okay, so
And,
he knows. He set you up.
And actually, I
Yeah,
don't
he's
recall the
getting that.
name, but there is a gentleman in Chicago that wrote to me, emailed me, and he's the one that first mentioned your name to me. And apparently, I think he's studying at university in Chicago, but he was a riding
Yes.
partner of yours. Was it
Yes.
Parmeet or something? I forget his name.
Praneet.
So
Praneet.
anyway, I want to thank him
Yeah.
in case he's listening, because that was a very cool connection.
Yeah, that's how we
Yes, he's
found you.
definitely there. And
listeners.
a big thanks to him for referring my name for this show. I don't think I would have been here if he had not recommended my name. So a big thanks to him.
You know, one thing that's pretty cool is that you do a lot of interviewing yourself. So you're on the other side of the camera, the mic. I know it's for somebody else's podcast in India that you've been doing and interviewing Indian women of a lot of influence and notoriety. So I think that's really cool too. But you said that it's motorcycle women in general. So I mentioned in an email, so I'll say it here again, that maybe you'll have to have Chris on your show and you'll have to interview Chris next time.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be a pleasure to interview Chris, of course, because I had done a few interviews of people from Spain, Australia, and I think another couple of countries. But yes, I would love to have Chris on my interview, because the aim is to promote as many bikers over there and help them share their stories, and the audience would learn a lot, from the experiences, all the ups and downs and things like that, and also know about the place.
No, we don't talk about downs. We talk about ups in motorcycles, right?
It would be my pleasure to be on your show. I even would get up at 6:30 in the morning for you if you needed me to. So there you go.
And it would be. It exactly would be the opposite times. Yeah.
Definitely return the favor. Let's look at some of your photos. I want to show people these because they're so awesome. Just the scenery and the things that you're looking at. Oh, all these people. That's cool.
I love this shot because there is the road you ride and what you see, and there's an obstacle in front of you that you have to decide, are you going left or are you going right? Wow.
That's actually a place in Zanskar Valley, which is also a part of Ladakh, and the road that you see is actually only tire marks, which has paved it. There's no road out there. You just have to ride through it, and the mountain that you're seeing over there, it's actually very huge, and the road actually doesn't lead over there. You have to. I mean, it turns or turns to the right or to the left, I guess. I mean, it's all winding.
So how close are you to China at that point? From where you were there, where was China?
China would be about 2,000 or 3,000 odd kilometers from here.
Still that far to the border? I'm shocked. I thought it would be around. I thought it would be on the other side of that mountain.
Wow.
Yeah, it would be closer from Pangong Lake. That I don't think I've included the picture out here, but yes, it's closer from there because 1/3 of the lake flows into India and 2/3 of it is in China.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Very
I
cool.
love this. We cut out the bathroom sign. There was a sign for the restaurant.
I know it's a museum, but it reminds me of It reminds me of guest houses that I've been in, little hotels in Nepal or something. But
Yeah,
apparently
lodge.
this is a museum, right?
No, it's a summer palace in Himachal Pradesh. The place name is Nagar. So you actually, I
Oh,
mean,
look at
this is a summer place where the king used to come and spend time during summer. Because it gets very cold in the winter and snows out there. So
Mhm.
and it's quite pleasant in the summer. So a special, what you would say, like a second house these days. You have a farmhouse and things like that nowadays,
Mhm.
where you get out of your city hustle bustle and go for a
That's cool.
relaxation or recreation. So this is similar to that.
What's the story behind this one here?
This place is Yamunotri, which is in a state called Uttarakhand, which was marked in the map. Uh, uh, so Uttarakhand is another beautiful state, which is just above Uttar Pradesh. And over here, I don't know, it's very famous for Haridwar, where the river Ganga flows and they pray to the river. And Rishikesh, where you have this bungee jumping from a height of 83 feet. No, yeah. And you also have whitewater rafting. It's famous for that. And this place that you're seeing is one of the pilgrimage temples
Mm,
which we visit. Many of us visit over there. I mean, the
right.
Hindus.
And that's a Hindu temple in this case.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the next one is really cool too. We had a long talk about this one. Oh, we can't see it. We can't see
Oh,
ourselves
yeah, Chris,
doing
you're
it.
gonna have to
Get
get
rid
rid
of
of
us.
our pictures, get rid
There
of
we
us
go.
because and zoom in on the upper left because this photo, I mean,
Down,
it's
we just see the
you're looking at
avalanche.
this kind of a
That's a
building or
glacier.
probably a temple, and
Go
it's
down into
dark
the
and there's
mountains.
wires, and then
Right.
just hidden there in the clouds is like, wow, that is truly the Himalayas there.
Yeah, and if you go down a little bit, Chris, you can see they had a Shilpa told us they had like an avalanche or some of the rocks just
Yeah,
came down
yeah.
and
There was an avalanche. There were actually not avalanche. There was a cloud burst, and because of that, there was a huge landslide. I mean, half the mountain came down, but the entire village got washed off, but not this temple. It was saved because of that rock that you can see behind.
yeah, right.
That huge rock came and it stopped the entire uh, flow to
Yeah, Chris Callan,
damage.
can you see on the left and right side, if you zoom in, there's rocks that came down that whole mountain. So really, it's like
Yeah.
the
Fresh
temple
blood.
just stopped it in its tracks or something. But
Mm.
it was a lot of mountain that came down. But boy, I
Someone
love that. Oh, it's
Someone
just
says Stairway to Heaven. Well, that's cool.
really, that's riding in the Himalayas.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
next one, let's look at that next one even. Oh my gosh, it's just like, look at
Now,
this.
is this Ladakh or what's the lake here? Is that Srinagar
This is
possibly?
No, this is Nainital. This is again part of Uttarakhand. So the
Oh.
photo you showed before, that was Kedarnath, which is the third place of the pilgrimage that I told you. And this is Nainital, which is the lower part of Uttarakhand. So Uttarakhand has Garhwal, which is on the mountainous part, and then when it comes down, it's called as Kumaon. So Nainital is part of Kumaon.
Can you show us on the map? Let's bring the map of India because I'm kind of curious where this is. How far north?
He wants to go. He's planning his trip.
Yeah, I am. So I'm studying the map.
I know he loves maps. So
I do love maps, and Rebecca Cunningham chimed in just a little while ago, and she said, "Where is that?" She wrote about how she wants to go to India, and she's been trying to talk Joe Sparrow into doing the rickshaw run, which sounds pretty amazing too. I think Chris Callan would be in on that if he knew what the rickshaw run is. But where in India? Let's go to the India map.
So we did recently, I mean, in 2019, there was a rickshaw run done by a NGO called Seva. So there were about 90 people who came from UK. They were NRIs, and they came here and they rode the rickshaws from Kanyakumari until Ahmedabad. That's in Gujarat. So from Tamil Nadu, the state Tamil Nadu, to Gujarat. So I was part of it. I
Gujarat
led
in the
them.
south, isn't it? Is Gujarat in the south?
No, it's in the west, where if you look above Mumbai, you have marked Gujarat.
Ah, okay. So how many kilometers did they do on the rickshaw ride?
I think they did close to 4,500 kilometers.
I know someone did that, and they fix up these. They're basically like taxis in India, right? The
Yes,
rickshaws.
yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
they
they're
are
the three-wheelers
three-wheelers.
that are so cool, and they really do them up and personalize them. And then you get Westerners that come in and they really want to customize these things, and they're going to go race. I'm telling you, Chris Callan, this is made for you. You would love this race.
I'm in. I'm in.
And I'm in too. I'm doing it with you. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Can you set us up, Shilpa, on the rickshaw run?
Yes, absolutely. When you come down, be my guest.
You know, back to that photograph of on the map. Where was that photograph with the lake?
You go up. It's on Uttrakhand. So you saw Gujarat, and then above Rajasthan, and then more onto your right is Uttarakhand on the top.
So above Delhi, correct? In the foothills, maybe, or
Yes, above.
Higher up. And do you ever go to Srinagar at all?
Yes. So when you go to Ladakh, I go via Srinagar rather than go from Manali.
Wow,
It's really cool.
I want to go. More pictures. We want to see more pictures.
Yeah. I know. That's beautiful. I love that one. The next one, this is some kind of beautiful architecture here.
That's in Agra, isn't it?
This is the Agra Fort. One of the entrances in Agra Fort.
Yeah, I spent a really wonderful week there because, again, this was 1975, and with all the tourists that visit the Taj Mahal, and I imagine now it must be 100 times worse. It's hard to find any quiet time, but I used to go at sunrise, and it was amazing to be like in this location with hardly anybody there.
It's beautiful.
You know, one person asked about traffic in India. So you did mention these big, wide boulevards and roads that you ride on, throughways and freeways and whatnot. So I'm sure there must be a terrible traffic problem now if that's what they're building.
Of course.
When you're riding, do you have to figure out a lot of traffic, or with a motorcycle, it's not a problem, you get right through it?
Yes, traffic is a problem, but not always. In the cities, yes, traffic is a problem, but not on the highways. You don't find too much traffic. The worst thing that I generally experience is I can ride the whole day on the highways, but when I have to get into the city, the last 20 kilometers that I have to ride gets me exhausted. But I can ride like 500, 600, even I've done like 800, 900 kilometers the whole day, but getting into that 20 kilometers for the city gets me exhausted completely.
I'll
bet that's tough.
Totally, yes. My daughter is actually watching this show. Hi, Lindsay. She says,
know. Shout out to Lindsay.
Michael's getting travel envy after so much time at home.
Definitely. No, I've wanted to return to India for a long time. It's one of my goals for me to go with my son, Sean, to go ride. I'd like to ride the length of India. That's what I thought. Personally, I'd like to do it on Royal Enfields. And I know we talked about brands before, and you mentioned Hero, but I wasn't sure. Did you actually say, is that the most popular brand of bike in India now, the Hero?
No, Hero is one of the popular brands. We do have a lot of Royal Enfields. The Bullets, yes, they are the second most popular. I'm not ranking it, but yes, they are also equally popular. You have a lot of these riding or biking groups who own Bullets. They are much widely spread than any other.
Is that the 500 or is that the 350 Enfield?
Just about anything. So they have 350, they have 500, they have
and for our listeners, for our viewers, that is the classic Indian motorcycle that when I was in the Himalayas, I was on the Royal Enfield Himalayan, which is a dual sport, but half the guys were on the Bullet. which still amazes me. There's a couple of Canadians, Scotty from Canada. This guy, he weighs a bit. Let me put it that way. He's a big guy. And I'll tell you, he just sat on this thing, bouncing along. We'd be crossing rivers and bouncing through these Himalayan roads and villages. And they ride the bullets. And I'm telling you, they go up these steep roads. Look at this thing. It is such a classic bike. And also for anyone that may not realize, they made the Royal Enfield in India. When Royal Enfield went out of business in England, they had already sold a whole factory to India. They were making the identical thing. So they just kept making them. So you got these things basically bikes out of the 50s right through the early 2000s. Now, since then, they have put some money in. They've modernized them with disc brakes. They recently came out with a twin engine 650 that I would love to try. But so I think they're awesome. It's the right bike at the right time. Harping back on all this nostalgia that people are into, it's very cool. Now, do you think that in India that people look at it that way, or is it too utilitarian? Like we look at it fondly, like this is just such a cool looking motorcycle. But is the Enfield Bullet looked down on, and they want the more modern bikes, or how do you feel about that?
They are modern bikes as well, and they are also used as utilities. If you go to Gujarat, you will find that it's turned into a rickshaw rather than just a motorcycle. So you can imagine how much it pulls up.
Wow.
And yes, many. I mean, it's not just for touring purpose. It's used by the people who supply milk. So. And it carries a lot of luggage on it and many things. So it's widely used.
We got to get back to our pictures. I can't wait to show people some more of these photos. I love this. What is this? What is this now?
This is a chandelier in the palace in Gwalior. It was pretty huge. I mean, the light wasn't too. I mean, the place wasn't too well lit, so I couldn't get it very clearly.
Right.
But now, how old would a palace like this be?
Yeah.
This would be hundreds of years old, I guess. At
Wow.
least 2 centuries, I guess.
It's nothing for India, right?
It's converted into.
I don't know. For some reason, it makes me think of the British
museum now.
It makes me think of the British Raj, and again, maybe I don't know if our viewers how aware they are. When did India get independence? Was it 48, possibly?
47.
1947. So they had been under British rule for centuries, I guess, right? It was what, 200 years or?
About or lesser than that.
Yes, I mean, the history of India is so rich and full.
Yeah.
Of course, it had been a lot of smaller, what would you call them? What would you call the regions before, when each one had their own princes and whatnot? What was the name for that?
Kingdoms, I would say. I mean, there was no state as such, but kingdoms, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's just
Where's this
fascinating.
next picture taken? It's just I just love the cloud shot in this next picture. Where is that?
Oh, wow.
This is one of the most beautiful sights I have ever seen in my entire ride across India. This is in Sikkim, the east of Sikkim, where the place is Nathula Pass. When I went here, I could see the peaks of really high mountains. You can see it here, it's just poking out of the clouds, and it was a sea of clouds over there. The clouds were so thick. I think must have been 6,000 or 7,000 feet. That it was down to that height. And after this, this was when there was a sunset. I think
I think there's another picture coming up. Yeah, the next shot is this the sunset?
Wow,
Yeah.
I love. I want to be on that road. I want to be there. I want to be there.
So this is a sunset on my right, and that was the scene on the left. I just saw that and I clicked the picture out there, and it was so amazingly beautiful.
Okay, this next one is like, okay, Do you want to be on that
God.
road, Mike?
Okay, well, hold on. Chris Callan, zoom in, lower down, and really look at the condition of the road. Lift that up a little bit. Yeah,
a little
now
bit.
zoom in on that little spot there.
I don't really know that it's any worse than parts of the Alaskan highway.
Maybe not. I don't know.
I'd ride that.
And then look at the weather. I mean, there's parts where you're just going to be in a whiteout cloud there.
Yeah, you mean a fog.
I mean, this is.
Well,
That's a cloud.
It is paved, right? It's one thing.
what happened here at the bottom of the screen, Shilpa? What are we looking at?
So this is called the Zuluk Loop, which was the old Silk Route for exchange of goods between China and India and Tibet, of course. And this road was under construction. So the clouds that you saw in that picture, it was, you can see it over here. And after this, when I started riding down, I had zero visibility, absolutely zero visibility, and it was so dangerous. I was just praying that I shouldn't get any vehicle coming from the opposite side, because I couldn't put on the headlight, because if I shine the headlight, it used to reflect back, because I was in the clouds and it was a wall of clouds in front of me all the way down.
It reminds me of we were on a mountain road like that in Nepal in the Himalayas. And I was with Doug Waskey, and who was the one that was the craziest? Maybe it was
Doug Waskey?
No. Waskey was on. No, Doug's usually a plotter. He goes slow. But you know what it was? It was Danger Dan. And I was doing my best to keep up with Danger Dan. I was right on his tail. And then we're on a road just like that, only it was total whiteout fog, like you wouldn't believe. And they decided to go 3 abreast on a single lane mountain road. If Danger Dan is listening, I'm going to give him hell for it. But we did survive. Some of these guys, they get a little wild. Oh, I shouldn't have said that.
You forgot about that one, huh?
Oh my God, you never know who's listening.
Keith Kronoff asked, do most people work or surface their own bikes? Do they work on, or do they have a lot of service shops there, considering the number of people riding? Do you have a lot of mechanics available?
Yeah, we have mechanics available in many places, but it's always better to know about your bike a bit, especially when you're taking bikes which are higher cc and not bullets. So since mine wasn't a bullet, what I did is I went to the service center in Hyderabad. I was living in Hyderabad for a while, so I went to the service center over there and learned how to service my bike, how to repair my bike, or if I cannot do it myself, at least instruct the mechanic to do what they have to do. So understand.
And then when you teach those women how to ride, you can also teach them and pass it on the information about how to change their oil and how to do basic maintenance. Right? That's great.
Yeah. Right.
Hey guys,
one thing,
if I can break in for 1 second,
sure.
We have a comment from Mike Padre. Says Alaskan highway is mostly, if not all, paved now. But this sign is just an example, because this was my experience on the Alaskan highway anyway. This is the problem there. You would get into stretches where it was good to do 60, 70 miles an hour, but when you saw a sign that says the pavement ends, it meant right at that sign. It was 2 inches of loose pack, like just no more road right here, So it's interesting riding the Alaskan highway.
Nice. Yeah. No, that's
another one on my list. Another one on my list.
We gotta go. Let's look at some of these photos.
And I'll tell you, people are commenting about how special this is, and especially because of COVID. They already have the itch to travel, and then seeing such exotic places. One thing we haven't talked about, which comes up on most shows, is food, because I love Indian
we had a
food.
picture of Indian food.
I know we had one. We did have one good food shop. We had so many shows. We did cut, but I have to bring it up because. Do you enjoy the food along the way? I mean, I know that when I was in India, I was, of course, I was trying to stretch my resources. So I was there for 3 months, living on $1 a day. So that's $90 for 3 months. So you're talking rice and dal, porridge for breakfast and rice and dal every other time. But I love all Indian food. So
definitely.
Now,
I have a
speaking
question.
of which, are you vegetarian?
I am an absolute vegetarian, but not a vegan. So in India, we have dairy products, but not eggs or
Right.
So if you say you're a vegetarian, that means no egg, no fish, no meat. But
Ah,
we do have dairy products like milk or yogurt, um, those stuff.
and your
But
famous milk sweets, of course, right?
oh
And
yes,
Your
yes,
desserts.
loads and loads of it.
Right. Hey, we have a question from your friend Pranit from ask
Yeah.
Shilpa about the time they were stuck on a mountain because of a landslide.
Oh boy,
That's pretty
Oh,
exciting.
that's a good story.
yeah, that was. So what happened is we went to this highest motorable pass in Ladakh, which is Khardungla, and we were returning from there, and we reached a place called South Kulu, which is just a checkpoint. There's nothing really to stay out there. It's just a checkpoint by the army people, and just 1 kilometer ahead of that, there was this huge landslide, and we were stuck in that place for a day and a half. And
Wow.
one of my co-riders, he had this. He had acute mountain sickness, which we call as AMS, due to lack of oxygen. So we had
Wow, that's
actually
bad.
stopped.
See, I
Yeah,
don't like heights. Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
then
we
now
just
your other
stopped
friend
there.
Naveen is chiming in to talk about
Suoriri. I don't know how to
Ori
say it.
Lake.
Tsuori, some lake from Naveen. What would that be about?
Oh, this is all these questions. I love it.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Well, we're having trouble pronouncing it, unfortunately. I guess a friend of yours named
Somoriri?
Naveen said talk about a certain lake,
Yeah, Somoriri.
Suoriri or something.
Rory.
Suori.
TSO means so, and that means the lake. And Moriri is the name of the lake. So it's So Moriri. So that lake is absolutely a beautiful lake. It's very similar to the Pangong Lake, but the path that we take. There's a valley called Chumtang Valley, and trust me, Mike, if you come there with your camera, you are not going to stop clicking photographs because
I'm coming.
the
I'm
mountains,
coming.
you will think you would think they're actually painted with different strokes. They have these
Wow.
lines of different colors of sand out there. Dark brown and light brown, and then you have this magenta color and green and sapphire blue, and you name it, you get those colors out there, and it's like you have painted each strip out there.
Wow.
It
Well, I
is
know when
so
Sean and I
beautiful.
show up, you're planning our route. Wow.
Hey,
If you come
maybe I'll
to
go.
India, definitely I'll take you
Sean
there.
going. Let's look at some more photos before we run out of time because I don't want to miss any of these. I forgot where we were.
Jason Sims is saying that he has to go. He says, I have to go here. And I think he means everywhere. So Jason Sims, I think there's a Cannonball in India in our future, maybe.
Yeah, there you
or
go.
Maybe just a chase. A chase would be pretty cool. An Indian chase.
Anything in India would be cool.
Yeah. This photograph is in the south of India. There's a state called Andhra Pradesh, and its capital is Amaravati. And so this is the Buddha statue, which is 150 feet tall. Wow, and you have to literally strain your neck.
Boy, you don't get this. It's hard to see the scale, isn't it?
Awesome. I know. I want to see that in person. That'd be great. Wow. And what is the next photo? That is a lot of people.
Oh,
zoom in. Those are all houses there.
Those are houses. That's the blue city of Jodhpur, which is in Rajasthan. So you have pink city, which is Jaipur, and the blue city is Jodhpur. And this photograph was taken from a fort called Mehrangarh Fort. So I took it from one of those small place. There's a window on the fort, and I took it from there. I just put my camera out from there and took it.
And the next photo is really cool because it's got some very colorful cloth, right? Is it cloth that they were dyeing or something?
These are these are cloths which are first dyed in the colors that they want,
Mm.
and then they do these designs or prints or block prints and things like that. And these are used as turbans by the people living there, or they make skirts and they make a number of different
Wow.
patterns out of these.
They're colorful.
But
And we have some motorcycle shots next, which are really cool because we didn't get to see you riding a lot, so that's neat.
yeah, I generally do not ride without a helmet, but this was just a photo shoot that we were doing in a controlled environment, and
Right.
he said
That's
just
okay.
take a
That's
spin.
what Michael will make you do too.
That's right. You know, one of your friends, Lalit again, asked,
Yeah.
when are you going to do a world tour by motorbike, including all countries? So he's wondering, when are you going to go around the world by motorbike?
Wow.
Because you did mention you want to
I'm
come to
planning-
visit the USA.
Yep.
Yes, and I'm planning that soon. I am working on the route that I need to take. I don't know when, but yes, I will do it soon for sure.
Well, you let us know. We would like to help.
Because
Yes,
we're gonna want to follow that one or join you at parts of
You'll
it.
come along. Definitely. Definitely.
Very cool.
So here's some people that you did a ride with. I love the background.
Yeah, that's Angkor Wat in
So
Cambodia.
you got to tell our viewers that may not be familiar with Angkor Wat, because this city was this ancient city was buried for years. Why don't you tell a little bit more about the
Oh,
story?
yeah.
So Angkor Wat is in Cambodia, and this particular temple is was a Hindu temple, but later on it was taken over by Buddhists, and then you'll find a lot of Buddha statues inside, and it's I think it's one of the most ancient temples out there, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well. If you go to Cambodia, I'm sure you will never miss this out, because it's the most famous site that people go there to visit, especially this place.
I've seen
And
that
you will
picture
take,
before.
if you're a photographer, you would take, I think, close to 3 or 4 days to.
Yeah.
You know, I would love to go to Angkor Wat. I remember studying it in art history. I used to study Asian art history. And at that time, the pictures of Angkor Wat that I saw were those temples that you showed in the background of that photo there, but totally with trees, their roots growing around and around all these structures. So you only saw a little bit of the building. It was so covered, trees just growing right out of them and the roots all around them. I mean, it's incredible that they've uncovered as much. Is there still any of it that's left covered up the way I'm describing, or is it all now reconditioned and refurbished?
It's all reconditioned, and now it's easily you can go around it easily, and it's still I think the archaeology department is working on rebuilding it on places where it's broken, but yes, it's pretty amazing. It's well done, clean, and you can go around the whole place. That's why I said a person like you, Mike, will spend 3 to 4 days.
I'll be in heaven. Yeah. Although there was something pretty amazing about it when you had to climb through the jungle to see these things too. I mean, those old pictures of it were amazing. They really were.
This next one is interesting too. Where's this next one? This looks like maybe Vietnam or Cambodia too, right? The next photo. Wait, where am I? There it is.
That's
Vietnam, I
Vietnam.
think, isn't it? Or
Oh, that's cool.
is this Vietnam?
That's Vietnam. Ha Long Bay is the name of the place. And you have these, when you reach the place, you have these caves which have, over a period of time, the water, like how crystals are formed. Here you'll find calcification, and again, I forget the name of what you say. It's
we have the picture of the
stalagmites
cave.
or-
We have a picture of the cave, inside of the cave. The
Yeah, we
stalactites
have
and the stalagmites.
Yes,
And there was a
yes.
question the other day on Jeopardy about something.
If you
something.
zoom in on the lower right, there's actually people in this photograph.
Yeah.
It's hard to see, but in the shadows of the lower right portion, there's people down there. It's an amazing photograph.
This is,
You know, I don't know
took
about
it
you guys,
from
but I think I see
inside.
like a dog or a wolf in the lower left there. And, I mean, I think if I'm sorry to say, but if I was doing acid in this thing, I don't know where I'd go.
I'm a cave person. I love caves. Caves are awesome.
Wow. It's trippy
Yeah.
without any drugs.
Yeah, they're all calcium deposits,
Yes.
and it forms
Amazing.
amazing.
Wow. It
You have a
sure
similar
does,
one in
show
India as well.
Excuse me. This sure does show your love of travel. I mean, that you stop along the way and you get in boats and go see things in caves and climbing mountains and
That's
whatnot.
right.
So it's really awesome. What a
And she
great
gets there-
story.
and she gets there on her motorcycle.
And she
So
gets it.
there
That's
you
what
go.
motorcycles are for.
That's right. Taking you
Right?
to places you haven't been.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just
That's beautiful
incredible.
too. Yeah.
What a great story you have. And I guess, we should let people know that, you do all this, but you are, like you said, teaching other women to ride and this travel business. What's happening with this travel business you're working on?
Yep.
So I organize tours for people who are interested in visiting places in India. So that also includes Ladakh, and Spiti is another place. Then I have places in Gujarat, like they call it the White Desert, where you have the salt pan. That's one of those photographs out there.
Wow.
Yeah, this
That's
is
so cool.
they call it Run of Kutch. Run means desert, and Kutch is a place in Gujarat. So we did a lot of photography over there.
Wow. You know what? I think Beaner's going to have some
Beautiful.
competition here.
Uh-oh, there you go. Another tour leader.
Our friend Beaner does organize tours like that in Vietnam. So maybe the two of you will meet sometime on one of your
There you
trips.
go. There's a nice
Another
picture
adventure
on the boat.
traveler.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
And then we
if
ha-
you
and then
want
we
to
have a
come
picture
down
of you
to
on the-
India, let me
on the
know and I
boat
will
with the-
organize tours for you.
So we have to make sure that our viewers know how to contact you if they're interested in putting a tour together. What should they do to get in touch with you?
So they can go on to my Facebook page, which you just shared, Shaiva Adventure Travels, the one previous one. This is my personal page. If they want to contact me, they can send me a message on this, or they can send me a message on the other one too. So yeah, I shared your post out there.
I saw that. Oh, wow. That's great. A lot of people from
this is
India
my
watching.
company
So
page.
that's so cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Wow.
We got to show the
Awesome.
last two pictures. The last picture is just unbelievable. I just love those pictures. I know. I want to come and visit too. So the last picture is in front of. Okay, that one. Who's that? Who's that friend of yours with you there?
Yeah, that she was one of the 3 riders who were there with me for the 5 ASEAN country tour. So
And
her
where was
name
this
is
picture?
Shanti. This is in Wat Phu, Laos.
In
Laos.
And so
Wow.
is this water open ocean water or a large lake?
No, it's
What
a
do you-
river.
This is a
It's
river? That's the
Mekong.
one. That is a big river.
Wow, that's wide.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. God, I could just feel the breeze
there you
and that
go.
warm
That's what I
sun in
want
the
to see.
face.
See, that is just.
Oh, that is
that's
so
a stunning
cool.
Picture. Wow.
Could you imagine
Yeah.
just riding along and coming up to that? It's like coming out, like in a single lane road and through the
Yeah.
woods, and all of a sudden there it is.
It
Wow.
opens up. That's beautiful. Oh.
Wow, that is
All right.
great.
Well, thank you so much for sharing all this.
Did we lose Shilpa? I don't see her here now.
Oh no.
Shilpa, are you still with us?
I think she's.
Oh no. Well, we're going to say goodbye to her because she'll watch it in replay. We can say goodbye to her now anyway.
definitely. Oh
Thank
my
you,
God.
Shilpa. If you can come back,
Really.
it was really wonderful having you. And we're lucky that we didn't lose her sooner.
I
So we got
know,
right to
my
the end.
gosh.
Wow. But
Yeah.
great story, huh?
Yep. That was a lot of fun to meet other people, from other countries, and we've got it more lined up. And sure, down the road we'll have some more people chiming in. If you know someone you want to see on our show, let us know. Email Michael. Right? My website's up there right now. You can email me through my website. You can email Michael through his
Absolutely.
website.
Or Mike at lichterphoto.com. And be sure to check Chris's website out for her books and mine for my photography. And to let you know, next week we have Shadow. The Shadow will be on next week. Marjorie Kleiman from New Jersey, who helps out on the motorcycle Cannonballs Wednesday night show. She's there kind of, I don't know, she does all their pre-show work. And the week after that, why don't you tell us about Brittany, Chris?
I think Brittany Morrow is going to be on with us. Amazing rider with a great story to tell about safety and coming back from an accident, and just her life has just changed because of that accident. Just an amazing person. But I really like to thank all our people. My daughter Lindsay's on there tonight. My friend Holly. I see Gail Swanson from Maui. Marilyn Stemp. Thank you for signing in and watching our show tonight. I know, Michael, there's Steve Broyles. Patrick
Steve
Simmons,
Broyles is
who's
back.
that?
Nancy Weems, a lot of our regulars, and again, people from India. It's always good to see Mike Podger from Prince Edward Island. He seems to be on every week. So he's our one Canadian we can always count on. And again, Lindsay, she said you definitely get up at 6 a.m. for an interview.
Yeah.
So,
did you see what else she said? She gets up from football.
And she also said that I'm suffering from travel envy in this show, and she's absolutely right. Thanks, Lalit. Lalit, thank you for tuning in from India, and really so cool. There's frankly like too many comments to keep up with. It was a lot of activity on the comment board tonight. So anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Yep. And one more, we're booked out like 3 weeks. So I will say I could add that one on because I just booked her today, and that's Kaylin Thorin, and she is quite the. If you follow Kaylin on social media, she's really an amazing photographer. She had a great feature in The Enthusiast recently, which, by the way, I just saw a letter. They're only going to be printing one time a year.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, they're going digital, and they're only getting. Oh, it's like stick a knife in me and twist it. My God, that hurts. Because they were a beautiful magazine. They were really the most circulated. I think they had 800,000 copies, and they were 4 times a year. And now, no one turns to the digital airwaves.
I want to thank everyone for watching again. Thank our sponsors, Fueling and SNS. And we got to watch that new Torque performance media. That looks really interesting.
I'm anxious to see that develop. Absolutely.
Definitely. And don't forget the Cannonball show tomorrow night. Their guest is Mark Zenor. He is the chase rider, number 59, the Norton guy. He's a cool guy.
Very cool. I remember photographing him a bunch. And then, of course, Sunday is Shop Talk every Sunday. So don't miss that. Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thanks,
Have a great night, everyone. Thank you, Shilpa. I hope we talk to you again. I know I have a feeling Mike's going to be in touch. Anyway, have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.